welcome. The Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. When I say this month has went by very quickly, we are already on week 5, part 1. Then we have Thursday night. That's it. And I'll see y'all in November. All right, so we're going to go on and get started with my website disclaimer. And I've been running a little bit over, but it's okay. Let me start. Please be aware that due to the nature of the technology I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. Should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by me are subject to limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you consult another physician, another specialist, another religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. All right, let me move on to my bio real quick, and we're going to jump right on in. So I'm a degree counselor. I've acquired a dual bachelor's degree in psychology and organizational management from Ashford University. My great passion is bringing healing to people who have been through traumatic and stressful experiences. We all know that when we as people experience trauma or severe life stressors, it's not uncommon to feel like that our lives are unraveling. But I do help clients who include children, adults, families, couples as well, to help them find healthy perceptions of themselves and to strengthen their relationships so that they can know themselves as being peaceful, complete, whole, and safe. All right, so let's jump right in. I am a Christian counselor, so the scripture that I chose for the month of August, and I'm actually going to end the year in November with the same scripture, Ephesians 4:23, the NIV version. It says to be made in the attitude, to be made new in the attitude of your mind. All right, so let's jump into these key points. I'm going to magnify it and now I'm going to minimize it. Number 1, 25 best jobs for people with hyperfocus disorder and affiliate disorders, ADD, ADHD, those type of things. The 3 types, that's number 1. Number 2 is the 3 types of ADHD and their symptoms. That's number 2. Number 3 is adult versus child ADHD, hyperfocus disorder. Number 4 is turning disadvantages into advantages. And you know, I'm big on this. I'm a glass full type of person, glass half full type person. So let's turn these disadvantages into advantages. Number 5, the 25 best jobs for people with ADHD, hyperfocus, that type of thing. Number 6, managing your hyperfocus, ADHD, ADD while at work. Tonight, on Thursday night, we're going to be talking about different careers. Different careers, with those that have hyperfocus disorder. I love this statement here by, and I was inspired to highlight hyperfocus disorder by watching the Man versus B movie on Netflix from Mr. Bean himself. He had a severe case of hyperfocus disorder in this movie, and it was hysterical the way the things that he did. If you get a chance to check it out. All right, so Mr. Myron Golden, he is a multimillionaire. He is a philanthropist. He teaches, and he's a very successful man, very wise man. And it's something that he said that stuck out to me, and I kind of borrowed it from him. But of course, he's going to get the credit for it. He says that hyperfocus disorder, ADD, ADHD, is really what he calls ECA, extra creation ability. All right, it's extra creation ability, and I wholeheartedly agree. So let's move this along. All right, tonight, this theory it was written by a health group called Clarity, Clarity, and it's medically reviewed by Dr. Zoe Russell. Okay. So let's talk about some of the 25 best jobs for people with hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD, because the whole thing is we want to talk about being successful, right? overcoming. I'm one that believes that everybody can overcome anything as long as you put the work in. I really wholeheartedly stand on that. I don't. I know that there are a lot of severe cases out there, a lot of severe, but I strongly believe that everybody can get better and can be the best form of themselves. They can experience the best form of themselves if the work is put in. Okay, I just don't believe that there are any type of just lost causes. I don't believe that. All right. So Dr. Zoe and Clarity health care talks. They said it's often said that there is a right job for everyone, and it really is. There's a right job for everybody. It really is. I already know that I'm a teacher by nature. I'm a singer. I'm a natural born singer. Y'all know that. But teaching is also, that goes hand in hand with my singing. And so counsel comes along with it, that teaching and all of that. So I know that that's a large part of my gifts. All right. So it's often said that there's a right job for everyone. However, for millions of adults with hyperfocus disorder, ADD, ADHD, it can be a challenge to find the proper job for you. So with proper treatment, adults with these treatments, these symptoms, can excel in many fields, although some jobs can be more suited to those living with the condition. All right. So we're going to point out specifics. About week 2 or week 3, I highlighted about 15, 16 different celebrities who have been diagnosed with one or more of these disorders, and how they are fluctuating, like Michael Phelps, the famous swimmer. Michael Jordan. Who don't know Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, Solange Knowles, with so many different people, and we know them, and we know them in their fame today. Okay, so this diagnosis, it will never stop you from being great. Remember, Myron Golden said that hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD is nothing but ECA, extra creation ability. And I'm going to keep saying that, extra creation ability. All right, so I wanted to dive a little bit more into the different forms of ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus. It is a neurobehavioral mental health disorder characterized by impulsivity, hyperactivity, and short attention spans. And so in general, no two people with this diagnosis, no two people express the disorders precisely alike. Okay, some patients may be highly social while others are withdrawn. Some may have a high concentration level, that's that high hyperfocus, and with things that interest them, while others are continuously challenged to concentrate regardless of how interested that they are. So once diagnosed, individuals with these diagnoses have responded to treatment. If they choose to take the treatment, they have responded to treatment for their symptoms and report greatly improved satisfaction in their work and in their personal lives. Okay, because those are two things we cannot get away from in life, period. You're going to have relationships, and number 2, you've got to work if you want to live, if you want to eat, if you want to, so these are two main areas that this affects everybody in life. Okay, as adults, even and children as well, because children are under the the tutelage, or they're the ones that have to be supported by adults. So whatever adults that they're up under, the adults, one, have to be able to socialize at some point with somebody, and number 2, they got to bring in an income. All right. So let's talk about the 3 different types of ADHD, hyperfocus, and ADD. Let's talk about it. Okay. And I think this is the first time that I've actually ever talked about the 3 different types. So number 1 is the inattentive type. So the patient generally displays, or the person displays, most symptoms below. I'm sorry. So these are the symptoms that they with inattentive types. Carelessness resulting in mistakes, like they're very careless. And these are some symptoms, but they're treatable. Remember, everything that I'm talking about is treatable. It is treatable. Okay. Inability to stay on task. Inattention, not appearing to listen, mind wandering all the time, inability to follow or comprehend instructions, task avoidance, especially for tasks that require sustained attention, distractedness, forgetfulness, lack of focus, constant procrastination, difficulty in organizing tasks. Example, poor time management, they're messy, disorganized, and the work productivity is low. So the first one, again, is the inattentive type. Second one is the hyperactive impulsive type. So that's where you have one, the inability to remain still, fidgeting, squirming, to getting up often when seated, moving away from the workplace. Number three, necessity to burn off excess energy, restlessness, like that. Number four is irritability. Number five is the inability to work quietly. Number six is talking too much or inappropriate or having inappropriate conversation patterns. Number seven is interrupting. And number eight is often on the go as if driven by a motor. So that's number two, the hyperactive impulsive type. Number three is the combination of the two, which is the most common type of hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD. It's where the person displays a relatively equal amount of both inattentive and hyperactive impulsive symptoms. Okay, so I'm going to move this on. It talks about adults versus children with this. I do want to mention the symptom presentation. There's a co-occurring condition which happens with children who are diagnosed with hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD, and they're more likely to have co-occurring conditions such as oppositional defiant disorder, which is ODD, conduct disorder, which is CD, learning disabilities. And it says in adults, these different ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus is more likely to co-occur with anxiety disorder, depression, and then substance use disorder, which is substance abuse. Okay. Of course, treatment, we're going to go into that a little bit later on. Turning the disadvantages, and let me move this along because I'm just talking and not moving this along. Here we go. Turning disadvantages into advantages. So we all know the disadvantages of hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD, but with proper treatment, all of this can be turned into advantages. Characteristics of these diagnoses, such as excess energy, creativity, and hyperfocus, are in demand skill sets in many different careers. So let's talk about the strengths of this different diagnosis. High energy. So channeling high energy into work problems. And let me move this along because I think I got a couple of, there we go. High energy. High energy, channeling high energy into work problems or long shifts is beneficial, very beneficial to an individual with these diagnoses. High energy hyperactivity is a common symptom that can help employees do more and accomplish their goals more quickly in today's workplace. So the ability to do more with less is a prized talent. So again, that high energy. Number two is creativity. Individuals with these diagnoses, they tend to be very creative thinkers. Again, what did Myron Golden say? He said hyperfocus disorder, ADD, ADHD is really ECA, which is extreme creative ability, extra creative ability, extreme or extra creative ability. All right, so just as there is no one size fits all treatment plan for these diagnoses, solutions to workplace issues can be equally complex. So the ability to look at things creatively leads to out-of-the-box thinking and solutions, another highly prized talent in the modern workplace. So that creativity, that extra creative ability, I'm telling you. All right, number three is hyperfocus. Hyperfocus is also known as a high concentration level while doing a task. So to the point of blocking everyone out. benefits of the employee and the employer in many ways. So this characteristic allows an individual with these diagnoses to focus keenly for extended periods of time entirely on the tasks that are at hand. And when it's properly treated, hyperfocus can be invaluable in a workplace with many distractions and promote workplace profitability. All right. So, and now number 5, problem solving skills. Okay. These are the advantages, guys, because we always want to talk about the good of everything. So problem solving skills. Impulsivity can be channeled into the ability to recognize issues and problem solve at a high rate of speed quickly. If properly treated, this common symptom doubles as a highly prized set of skills for many career paths. So these are the advantages. I'm going to go over it again. The advantages are 1, high energy. Number 2, creativity. Number 3, hyperfocus. Number 4, problem solving. So now let's get into the 25 best jobs for people with these diagnoses. And let me move this along. Here we go. 25 best jobs. And so the theorist said here that people with these diagnoses are undergoing treatment for can be excellent and inspired employees when performing the night job with the correct structures in place. While there isn't a one-size-fits-all career that is the best job for people with these diagnoses, these roles are those roles that allow for an individual to have a varied approach to their work, a non-monotonous type, nor highly repetitive in nature, and allow for freedom of physical movement, can be highly beneficial. So let's talk about 25 jobs that really suit people with the diagnosis of hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD. Number 1, a computer programmer. All right, a computer programmer. The unique creative challenge of computer programming makes it a perfect job. All right. Because computer programmers can envision and implement solutions in new ways to do old tasks. Okay. And so this is good. Engineer is number 2. Ooh, and that's a good job. Both of them, engineer. So this is another creative and hyper focused type of job that exhibits that makes the engineering profession very attractive. All right. So number 3, of course, being an entrepreneur. So the most successful entrepreneurs have the creative ability to see things in a different and highly profitable way, and the impulse to act upon their instincts. Okay, they're not scared. They jump and they do it. So that's number 3, entrepreneur. Number 4 is a small business owner. Okay, same as the entrepreneur. Number 5 is a chef. Okay, few professions benefit from creativity as cooking. The best chefs can think out of the box and create amazing culinary works of art. You know, we got the bakers and different things like that, and even the fine diners, the way they plate it and they get the food, and I love creative ways of in any area, whether it's cooking, any area. So number 5 is being a chef. Number 6 is being a teacher. Okay, so being a teacher requires high levels of creativity. Yes, it does. Hyper focus and problem solving. Okay, all right. It allows you to move around physically and to expend a lot of energy. You need a lot of energy to be a teacher. You have to be a creative thinker. You really do. You got to be focused, hyper focused on the different things that's going on. And then everything with teaching is problem solving. Okay, so there is never a dull, monotonous moment when dealing with students. And as a teacher and adult with with these diagnoses can also recognize and help students with the same condition. All right, number 7 is an ER nurse or critical care nurse. All right, so the emergency room is an adrenaline-packed, fast-paced workplace that requires high energy and quick reactions, impulsivity and hyperfocus. That works for them, All right. Number 8 is an architect. So seeing a project from many different angles and creativity are hallmarks of this profession. All right, so that's great. An architect. Number 9 is a sales representative. Woo! So sales reps must be able to exercise high creativity and work long periods in fast-paced work environments. All right, being a sales representative. So that's if you're a talker, that's good for you. This is a good job for you. Number 10, a computer technician. All right. And it's similar to the computer programmer, but this job is a little broader in nature and provides even more variety. So rarely a dull moment and many opportunities to solve problems and interact on teams. They appeal to the person with hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD. All right, a fitness trainer, meeting new people, offering solutions and ideas to help them look and feel better, and moving from client to client quickly are vital qualities of a fitness trainer. That's perfect. Number 12, a cosmetologist. All right, highly similar in nature to the fitness trainer. This profession helps others look and feel their best. We all know that. But a cosmetologist, because you got to be creative. You got to be creative. A graphic designer is number 13. Creativity, and variety are hallmarks of graphic designers. Generally, the first set, this job sets its own work pace with a graphic designer, and each project is separate and unique, so you can use your creativity. That's the ECA again, extra creative ability. Number 14 is being a journalist. I like that. Journalists deal with multiple topics, and their work is always changing. This appears, this is a good job. The broad range of topics is usually limited in duration, and hyperfocus is a considerable benefit to completing this job as a journalist. Number 15 is a police officer. Okay, so being situationally aware and making split-second decisions in various environments are necessary to this job. So police officers must be able to do all of this. They always have constant challenges and adrenaline-induced situations, high energy, hyper-focus, creative, all of that. A police officer is number 15. Number 16 is a photographer. All right, a photographer. Hey, Ahmed, how you doing? My childhood friend, how you doing? So being a photographer creatively, you having that creative ability to see the world with a unique perspective, and it's very common. That's a good job for people with those diagnoses. Number 17 is a firefighter. Extremely similar to police officers, but being a firefighter requires courage and focusing on fighting fires. So that's a good one. Number 18 is being an electrician. So our intricate ability to understand how things work and solve problems are hallmarks of this. Hey Helen, how you doing? So good to see you, Helen. So being an electrician, that's another good job for someone with the diagnosis of hyperfocus, ADD, ADHD, those type of things. Copy editors. All right, so the hallmark of this job is constantly being busy with many things to focus on at once. Okay, and don't say that, that job is, listen, we all need a UPS, USPS. We all need FedEx. We all need these, that's how a lot of us get a lot of our things done in life, whether it's a wedding, a funeral, unfortunately, any graduations, they give all kinds of things with pictures and so a copy editor, that's a great profession. Number 20 is emergency room doctor. Helping others as you help yourself is possible. Emergency room doctors are known for their problem-solving abilities, creative thinking, and varied schedules. Okay. Number 21, an event planner. Oh my gosh, y'all know they come in handy, event planners. It requires a high degree of creativity, organization, and problem-solving skills, which can align well with the strengths of many people with these diagnoses. Number 22 is marketing specialist. A marketing specialist. So marketing requires a high degree of creativity and the ability to think outside of the box. Okay, that is really a marketing specialist. And most of us, like us content creators, me, I really do. I can benefit strongly from a marketing specialist. Okay, and I am actually eventually going to invest in a marketing specialist for my platforms. So this is a great job. Number 23, musicians. Yeah, now I can talk on this. This is one thing I do know, and I've experienced. I do know, and been close and worked closely with most musical geniuses. They do have the diagnosis of ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus, something like that. And again, with that diagnosis, it gives you an edge. Like Myron Golden said, you have that ECA, which is that extra creative ability. Most musicians they do have one of these diagnoses, the hyperfocus, hyperactivity, but they are creative geniuses. Okay, with a musician, number 23. Number 24 is a writer. Writing requires a high degree of creativity. You have to have a very creative mind to write and write well, and the ability to hyper focus on a project, okay, which can align well with your strengths. Number 25 is an emergency medical technician, EMT. EMTs play a critical role, which they do in emergency medical care. They require quick decision making skills, the ability to stay focused under pressure, and strong communication and teamwork skills. Okay, EMTs, they're actually what I call are the mobile doctors. EMT are mobile doctors because when you get to an emergency type situation, you have to perform most of the time life saving skills and get the person safely to the hospital so the doctors can continue to the life-saving skills. So I always call EMT mobile doctors, or doctors that are mobile. Okay, that is a very important job. All right, so those are the 25 different job skills and careers that I was talking about on tonight. People that have the diagnosis of hyperfocus disorder, or ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, and all of the other things that go along with it. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just all over the place tonight. All right, so I wanted to talk very quickly. Okay, I got a couple of minutes. I wanted to talk very quickly about managing your diagnosis while you're at work, because a lot of us have been, we have worked with people who may have these symptoms, and they're not quite going under treatment to bring it, to hone them in. So when you're recognizing, it says recognizing the triggers to the symptoms is the first step to manage these symptoms. So workers with these symptoms can more successfully manage their symptoms when, number one, when they remain focused. In order for them to remain focused, they have to be up under some type of treatment. Okay, so focus is the ability to concentrate. Minimizing distractions help you focus. So a quiet, uncluttered workspace, putting your phone away, having no food or beverages next to you, having a list of priorities and instructions immediately available are all techniques that help you remain focused. Number two, let me see. Number two is deal with the impulsivity and your temper. Okay, again, we have all, if it haven't been us, we have all worked with a coworker that may have, the impulsivity or the temper problems. So interpersonal relationships at work and within work teams are critical. Outbursts of temper rarely end well. They really do. Recognizing triggers and pre-planning how to avoid them can minimize potential incidents. So when you're feeling that you're about to engage in an impulsive act or action, an effective technique is to immediately stop what you're doing, take a deep breath, and then ask your colleagues for a minute so you can regroup. All right, take calm, deep, and reassuring breaths. If possible, walk away to allow yourself the time that you need, and then return when the symptoms have passed. So these are just some helpful tips, again, for those that may be in treatment, but they're just showing some little triggers at work. Number three is cope with the hyperactivity. So many adults with ADHD, the hyperactivity, they feel the need to be in constant movement. Proactivity, setting up a system of breaks in work to allow for scheduled movements, can greatly assist you. Changes in your diet, avoiding caffeine and sugars, regular exercise and a good night's sleep are additional techniques that can help address the hyperactivity. Items such as stress balls, and under the desk leg exercises are also helpful, but be careful to limit the number of devices to avoid them from becoming your distractions, because they can become your distractions as well. So number 3 is coping with the hyperactivity at work. um I had a former coworker when I was teaching, and I promise you, we never would have known anything if she didn't tell us. She I remember her coming into my office at work one day, and she was saying that, she said, okay, it's getting late. She said, I'm starting to feel my ADHD medicine is starting to wear off. She said, I took it a little earlier this morning, and she said it's starting to wear off. And so she said, I'm glad that we're close to the end of the day. And what happened, I had offered her, we had like an iced coffee. You want some coffee? I mean, she said, oh no. She said, no, I can't drink that. She said, because that'll trigger it. It'll offset my medicine. And then she said, I won't be able to work well. She said, I'll be all over the place. I won't be able to focus or anything. And I said, oh, wow. I said, well, we would have never known if you didn't say anything. She said, that's why I take the treatment. That's why I take the medicinal treatment, so I can function. She said, and it wears off when I get home. And she said, I'm fine. She said, but I take it, a certain time before I go to work. She said, so I can work my job. And then she said, and do it well. And I was like, wow. And that was very commendable of her. All right. Number 4, deal with memory issues. So memory issues are frustrating and a great embarrassment for adults with these diagnoses. Write down the details. Write these details down on instructions and a timetable for each task and the time that it is assigned. Once written, it is helpful to repeat it back to ensure accuracy. Memory challenges can be significantly diminished by exercising good communication, such as the repeat back technique. Okay, and y'all know I talked about that. It really does work. And reiterating project directions in writing. Write it down. Write it down. Put it up somewhere where you can see it, and it'll be a constant reminder. Once you've completed that task, check it off, cross it out, and move on to the next one. Okay, so and this is a good technique to help deal with memory issues. But again, the treatment, I'm going to say it over and over again. The treatment, if it's there, the treatment, and if you choose to get the treatment works. There has been years and years and years of proof how medicinal therapy, how medicinal treatment works for this diagnosis here. Number 5 is start dealing with the boredom. So boredom and monotony at work are triggers for many people with ADHD and hyperfocus like that. So while time and task management are important, setting up of breaks and rewards for certain levels of progress can significantly improve boredom with a task. Meditation or mindfulness techniques can help alleviate boredom as well. In addition to trained therapeutic techniques, again, that therapy, all right? And there are smartphone apps and online guided meditations that an adult with these diagnoses can use for free or for inexpensive. Let me see who all came in. All right. Number 6 says avoid procrastination. And that's with anybody. But to avoid procrastination, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Is an excellent model for adults with these diagnoses. It is easy to bargain with yourself over completing necessary tasks and inadvertently create a no-win situation. Ask yourself why when you find that you are putting off a task. Okay. Ask yourself why when you're putting off this task. Take a few moments to gather the reasons and then determine if it is due to a real need or is it due to the diagnosis, ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus. Recognition is half the battle, and it really is. Okay. And mental discipline is needed to put yourself back on task. Reward yourself at regular intervals for staying on task. Now, my calendar is full. I have got so much going on, and I had to prepare for a test. I had 1 week to prepare for the test, to practice. And I'm going to give you, this is just and I wasn't avoiding anything. I had to practice time management this past week. And so I had so many things that I had on my list to do throughout the week. And so I took whatever time I could, which was late at night, and I made sure that I did the practice test and the studies and different things like that. I had a week to perform a 3-part test, which was very long. Each part of the test was 3 hours. My schedule was so hectic. I wound up taking a test last night. The test, it literally was 3 hours each section of it. Now, again, and I was talking to myself, I was trying to find, is there any way I could have put in more practice with the, I'm telling myself with the test. But again, my schedule was very consumed. So to make a long story short, I was only able to complete one portion of the test, and then it timed out. So of course, the test, what I was taking the test for, I didn't pass it. And so I was like, okay, I had to rethink in my mind again, rethinking my mind. Okay, why? Is there something more that I could have done? Coping, is there something that I was avoiding? That's what I'm asking myself. And I was like, well, I'm just going to have to take the bad with the good or whatever. This is just a part of it. I did what I could do. I was trying to see if I can do more. But again, with my time and my schedule, I couldn't. Well, I got an email earlier today. The people were like, we still want you to be a part of this project. We want to give you another opportunity to retake the test. Or do you want to do it? Are you willing to do it? I am willing to do it. Again, I'm going to have to squeeze in whatever time I can. Like as soon as I log off tonight, I'm jumping right on the test, the practice test, so I can practice for each one. So when it's time for me to retake the test again, I can get through all 3 of the modules of the test and prayerfully pass it, so I can be a part of this project. Okay, now if this happens with people without this diagnosis, I'm saying all this to say, if there is a diagnosis that you do have that's like this, by all means, reevaluate yourself over and over again. Make sure that you are not just avoiding the task that you're doing. Okay, all right. So again, I'm about, we can overcome everything, and this is why I'm giving these strategies. All right. So, where did I leave off at? Okay, so we're coping with hyperactivity, deal with the memory issues. We practice effective time management. That's where I was at, practicing effective time management. All right, and it says one on time, every time is the goal of successful adults. Few things are satisfying as ticking off a completed, it says ticking off a completed work assignment. Hence, a priority list with an estimated time for each task is a great reward and reminder system. Keeping a clock nearby helps you track your time on the job, which is crucial for time management. Be realistic about frames and discuss any needs or concerns with your supervisor, or if you're assigned to a team, with your team. All right, so let's move this along because I'm over my time. Goodness. Oh, let me go back before I get to Ada. Y'all know I'm excited about Ada. Okay, so clarity is another, this is where I got my theory from tonight. Clarity. Clarity is an online treatment, another online treatment facility for people that may have ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus disorder. You can go online and you can check and see, and I believe a lot of their help is very affordable. I'm excited. Y'all know I'm excited about ADA, ADD A plus community. When I was doing my research on this, on hyperfocus disorder, and I learned about ADA plus community, how it's a community with people that have the hyperfocus disorder, ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, OCD. There's a community that you can join, and you are a support group. Listen, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. A support group is a support group. Okay, I am so excited about ADA plus community. Guys, go on, jump on it, and join if this is something for you or someone that you know that it'll help. Okay, ADA community. Now, let me move to my takeaway. my takeaway for this evening is, and this is from Clarity Online. It says people with these disorders, with these diagnoses, they thrive when they seek jobs that reward innovative thinking, enhance creativity, and unconstrained creative generation. So your hyperfocused ADHD brain was built for fast-paced environments. I'm gonna say that again. Hey, hi, Lady Demir. How are you? At a community. That's right. Okay, so it says that your hyperfocus, your ADD, your ADHD, your dyslexic brain was built for fast-paced environments and loosened restrictions like flexible hours and the ability to be your own boss. It goes right back to what Myron Golden says. He talks about his definition of ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus is ECA, extra creative ability. And this here, it says it again. It says it in their own terms that your extra creative ability brain was built for fast-paced environments and loosen restrictions like flexible hours and the ability to be your own boss. Again, I'm going to keep saying there are several celebrities like Michael Jordan, okay, like Michael Phelps. There are several celebrities with these diagnoses, and that hasn't stopped them one bit. They are who they are today because of their extra creative ability. Okay, let me talk about our quote. The quote again, and I've kept this quote all month long, is you don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you. All right. And that's Dan Millman, by Dan Millman. Now, I talked about Learning RX, and I stand on Learning RX. Learning RX is a brain training company. And it's not just for people with ADD, ADHD, hyperfocus, dyslexia. A lot of judges, a lot of doctors, a lot of politicians, teachers, professors, a lot of pilots, different people, they utilize Learning RX to help strengthen their brain. Learning RX is known, it's helped thousands of adult clients. It's helped them strengthen their skills by going, with Learning RX. It's helped improve a lot of people's IQs by 13 points. And during this period, they made significant gains in their skills, like their working memory, their long-term memory, and their attention. So I stand on Learning RX. Learning RX and they're located everywhere. They have several centers here. The one that I used to go to, because I learned about Learning RX with I have 2 out of 3 of my babies that was diagnosed with ADD. I say it all the time, and they are success stories. I went to them when they were young. Insurance does not carry them, so you have to pay out of pocket. But when I say it's worth it, it is worth it. BetterHelp. Let's move on to BetterHelp. All right, BetterHelp. If you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and family members. www.betterhelp.com. I'm not getting paid for this, but as a therapist, as a counselor, I promote these wonderful online services. BetterHelp. Now, 988 is a crisis hotline for those people that may be considering suicide. If you know someone who may be considering suicide or they're contemplating it. So 988 is a 24/7 online service. You can text them, you can chat with them, you can call them, you can go online and reach out to them that way, and you can connect with people that you can trust. I mean, so if you know someone that's struggling, it's okay to share your feelings with the counselors that are on 988 Crisis Helpline, 24 hours, 7 day a week service, and they're located everywhere. All right. So if there's this is my theory website page, guys. I always forget that. Here we go. That's my theory. This is where I got all of my theories from. And they're long-term theories from my fellow counselors. You can check it for yourself, double check it, and see where this theory came from. All right. If there is a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae that you have missed, or you just want to rewatch, where am I at? Go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share if you want to. And then select any past series that you want to watch. Okay, now I am a professional one-on-one counselor. If you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Owens, or you can email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Now, listen, I do emergency call sessions. I can do emergency online, like if you contact me via my messenger, we can do a video messenger or audio messenger. I do sessions as short as 15 minutes, and I can go as long as 2 hours. And I said I'm going to start telling y'all this is and I do this now. I don't do long-term contracts either, because some people sometimes may just need to talk through a strategy. They just need to get something off their chest. I'm available for quick counsel. You don't have to worry about no long-term contract with me. If you just need to get, strategize through something, I'm available. Okay, so I cannot go any less than 15 minutes, but I can go as long depending on my schedule. If we do like an interaction, a quick like on the spot type of interview, we can see if we can go as long as 60 minutes, like that. But I do offer quick counsel, right? A strategy counsel, 15 minutes, no less than 15 minutes. And if you calling me on, or if you contacting me right there, like an as needed basis like that, then depending on my schedule, I can give you as much time as possible with that. Now, I said I'm going to start saying this. I'm working my prices out for the quick calls. This is a quick call. This is for the quick, immediate, on the go type of call. My counsel can be as low as $2 a minute, but it has to be at least 15 minutes. It cannot go no lower than 15 minutes. So that's $2 a minute. Okay, now I will see y'all on Thursday for part 2. All right. And I want to thank you for participating with Counsel Today with Shanrae. I am Shanrae. I will see you all on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night, guys. All right. Oh, Lord, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. Okay. Where we at?